Ayo. All right. We got another big patch day, and I haven't done one of these patch notes videos in a minute, but this patch is worthy of it. I'm going to jump right in. No bullshit here. Cypher has been a dominant force with his map-wide information gathering and powerful kill setups. Because Cypher's map-wide info is intended to be his unique strength, we wanted to target the efficacy of his kill potential. We're adjusting the trap wire to increase the counterplay time window after hitting it so that there's more of a balance between a well-crafted setup and enemies deliberately trying to break trap wires. Additionally, this will help team compositions who don't have as much utility to deal with unbreakable traps. And this is something that, I mean, like, even I'm pointing out in the pro level coach streams, you know, when teams lack the ability to break certain trips, you see them get creative with like breach aftershocks or, you know, like weird molly lineups even to break some trips. Or you'll see stuff at the pro level where the ciphers will put their trips very low to the ground and then the fade prowlers will go over them. And some of these trips are just eating these even pro level teams up. Cypher's ultimate has been extra powerful after adding the second reveal and the removal of time restriction on enemy corpses in patch 5.10. So we're bumping up the cost to put it more in line with other comparable ultimates. I mean, Cypher's ult was insane. It was getting so much value at 6 orbs. And yeah, I agree. The ability, it seems so long ago now at this point, but the ability to have any of the dead enemies at any point in the round, doesn't matter how long they've been dead for. That was a huge buff at the time because Cypher was super weak before some of these buffs, the trip buff, this buff, and I mean, there was even nerfs before that, like the cages used to slow people. There was even moments where Jett could dash through the trip. So Cypher's gone through it now, but this is a lot here. So going into the trapwire changes now has a 0.5 second wind up before the full wall hack reveal applies and fades in. Trapwire now has an updated minimap icon treatment to better display what the trapwire is connected to. I mean, 2 is a great quality of life change, but number 1, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if our boy can live through this. I don't know. I'm curious let me know in the comments if you guys think Cypher's going to live through this, because I think, you know, with the cam nerf where you can now get, you know, you get feedback if you're on some hidden cringe cam, if you're an opponent, that's a huge nerf to the cam. This trapwire update at the pro level, that 0.5 seconds, I mean, maybe you could see the trips getting pulled back more into the site, so they're kill trips on the duelist. But the 0.5 second wind up with like a fade in reveal. So this is what it looks like. There's a clip here. And you can see how this clove like fades in. So that's a long time at the pro level. I don't know. I just think this might be too much. Now, this is a fantastic change. As a co-streamer that's staring at the mini-maps, trying to guess where the trips are all the time, I mean, this is crazy that this kind of tech wasn't here. You can see, I mean, it's actually represented correctly on the mini-map now, whereas before, it was kind of like always coin flippy. So I like that change. That's a good one for Cypher. Neural theft, extra orb. Other than that, nothing crazy here. I think this will do it, though. I don't know. I think we're heading into a meta where the true senties, like Cypher Killjoy, have been hit quite hard, and there might be worlds where we don't see them as much. And who we might see more of, surprise, surprise, here's Sage. Sage has been feeling weak with relatively low pick rate in high-level play. We want to continue to hone in her ability to stall and slow down attackers when pushing into areas her team controls. With the added dash speed reduction on Slowing Orb, well-timed proactive cast of her Slowing Orb should feel rewarding and make slows a more meaningful debuff against duelists with dashes. Now the changes. Healing Orb. Self-heal increased from 30 HP to 50 HP. I think this was necessary. When they nerfed Sage like 4 patches in a row and just buried her, this was one of those ones where it was like, oh my God, 30 HP? Really? It's like whenever you would see a Sage self-heal, you would have to talk shit. Now it's at least, you could argue, 50 HP is a lot better. 30 HP was kind of crazy. Heal time matched to ally heal at around 5 seconds, because it was also slower, I believe, before. Slowing Orb. Now will additionally reduce the dash speed of enemies caught inside the slowing zone by 50%, similar to the concuss changes in the gameplay systems update later in the patch notes. Also, the res, the ult cost from 8 to 7. These are big changes. I love Sage in the game. I love it. I think we used to see a lot of Sage, and I think the pool will allow it right now. If with these buffs, I think the pool can allow for some Sage. I think we could see her on bind. I think with all of the spam on plants and the harassing, I think you might see her on Abyss, maybe. I mean, I love Sage. You've seen her on Ascent in the past. I ran Sage on 100 Thieves. Breeze on the pool. Fracture, no. Haven, I also have run Sage on Haven. I mean, I know it's a rare comp, but we used to see Sage quite a bit on Haven. Icebox out the pool, but yeah, it's obviously see her there. Lotus out the pool. We did see her there. Pearl, we've seen her there. Old school Cloud9 comp. Sage and Phoenix. We also ran Sage on Pearl Blue for Champs. Split, obviously a Sage map. And Sunset, we saw PRX run Sage here. So with our map pool, I think dude, Sage could be cooking, guys. Sage could literally be cooking on this patch. I would be really on the lookout for this agent to make a huge entrance in the meta. Even though these buffs aren't massive, I think the map pool in general, combined with this, might tip it a little bit, right? We might see her at very least on a few maps after this patch. So moving on to Deadlock. Deadlock's ultimate will now always kill the target when the timer expires, and they are not freed from the nanowire cocoon. Jesus, government name on that cocoon. Previously, captured targets only died if they reached the end location before the timer expired. Deadlock's visuals for health on the Annihilation Cocoon and Barrier Mesh have been updated to make their health states more clear. I actually think this is great. I mean, nothing crazy, but there were so many problems with the Deadlock ult. Even in pro play, you would see people randomly get out of the cocoon and like win the round because you're not supposed to. You can't just stare at the person when the flood is happening, right? Like you got to kind of ignore the cocoon and hope it does its job. And there was just so many bugs with it where the person would pop out and win the round when you weren't looking. I think this is a good quality of life thing. I mean, again, I main this agent and it feels like no one has any idea when the shit's going to break. It's just like, I know I'm going to have next to no bullets at the end of this. So let me just shoot a lot. This is absolutely needed and a great quality of life change. I hope this eases all the complaints about Deadlock, right? Because it's a very like annoying agent to play against with the big net and the cocoon. Obviously, it takes forever. The barrier mesh takes forever to shoot people out. So, good change. Quality of life updates. 2 thumbs up. All right. Omen nerf. Holy shit. They killed our boy. They literally are killing our boy, chat. Omen has been a mainstay controller in high-level play for a long time. He particularly shines in his ability to create ambiguity throughout a round with the low cooldowns on his smokes. However, Omen's ability to place one-way smokes inside level geometry provides significant defensive power with low counterplay. We'll be keeping an eye out here for how these changes affect the overall controller ecosystem. Okay, now let's get to it. Dark cover. Dark cover will now always fall to level geometry where players can stand similar to other spherical smokes like brimstone sky smokes, cloves, ruse, etc., etc. This should prevent Omen from placing one-way smokes on small ornamental pieces of geometry, like the fuse boxes in the main of Split B, and only allow him to place smokes where players can stand. Jesus Christ, dude. It's just... I feel like this is the biggest part of Omen's kit. His ability to one-way stuff, right? Like his ability to one-way the door here, his ability to one-way bottom C, his ability to one-way garage, his ability to one-way spawn, his ability to... This isn't a true... So this one would still work, actually, on this lip. But, I mean, there's dozens. Like, you see people stick them here. There's so many one-ways that Omen mains are using. I use them all the time here. You could technically stick them like here and here. Those are probably gone. It's brutal. It's so brutal. I think Omen has survived quite a few changes, but I think this is the one that buries him. I do not see how it's possible for this agent to be chosen over Astra. And I think there's no one better that explains this than Vladkor, who plays a lot of controller himself, just like me. And he says Omen slowly went from the best smokes agent to probably the worst. Shit had fast flash for 200 credits, smokes 2 times faster landing. You had both smokes for free. I actually don't even remember that. And TP for 100 credits. Now you're spending your life savings to buy flash on Pistron thinking what the future holds. I mean, that flash, dude, that flash moving so slow, too. No one's getting hit by that flash. It's crazy. This guy has been nerfed into the ground. The red carpet has absolutely been rolled out for Astra at this point to just take over the game. So you can see this one, obviously, these are shit one-ways. Whoever this is doesn't play Omen. But you can see right here in this first one, what ends up happening is the smoke just falls to the ground. Whereas in the previous patches, it would stick up there. This is a place where players can stand on, so the smoke stays, right? And Astra could put a smoke on here, or Brim could put a smoke on here, so Omen can too, right? But this next one just shows you how devastating. Now, this isn't even the one-way for door, but again, it's showing you that you can't one-way door. And this is devastating for Omen mains. Like, this is a huge value of Omen's kit. Probably the biggest, in my opinion. It is what separates him massively. I think the teleport and the blind are awesome pieces, but the ability to stick these one-ways allows Omen to be an anchor. And it allows him to operate in a lot of different ways in pro play. So these smokes will be falling now. And when the smokes are the same value as like a clove smoke, now we're seeing value for clove go through the roof. You know, we're seeing more value for Astra with 5 stars. So this is really putting harm to Omen's pick rate on some of these maps. I don't think he will be meta at all with a change like this. Gonna move past this, but I personally think this is a huge hit to Omen. And Astra was already gonna get a lot of play, and this makes it a certainty that Astra is definitely on top of the controller pile right now. All right, Clove, Ruse, ally versus enemy clarity around Ruse casts for both alive and dead casts of smokes have been improved. 2, enemy smokes updated appear more red than ally smokes. Okay, good. Quality of life changes. Good. Clove is actually one of those agents where even I struggle to initially determine like attacker and defense. It was hard with the colors, but so I can see why. Not dead yet. I'm a little confused on this. Maybe you guys can explain in the comments if you play Clove. Time to get a kill decreased from 12 seconds to 10 on the ult. Now, the ult in pro play isn't very good, but Clove's win rate in ranked is the highest of all agents, actually. And it says this change had been made accidentally in patch 8.11 when fixing another bug, but the ultimate has been performing well at this tuning. So does that mean it was already at 10 and we just didn't know that? Or does that mean that it's at 12 and now it's at 10? I'm confused. I'm confused here. Maybe someone can explain that. I just know it's at 10 now. I just don't know what it was, you know? Phoenix. This is like the crown jewel of the patch, and I'm so excited. All we got to do is just get Neon out of the way. And then this guy has a chance. This guy finally has a chance to have his meta. Okay, Phoenix. Following up from our updates to Duelist in 8.11, we're taking an opportunity to let Phoenix shine brighter as the bold and confident duelist he is. His updates encourage him to get back to the fight quickly, break into sights with his curveball, and reward him for succeeding on entry. Phoenix now applies a heal over time to himself whenever he touches his flames, which persists even if he leaves the fire. This allows him to dip into his flames and then continue to press the offense. Holy. Curveball. All right. Curveball is now his signature ability slot. Banger. This is literally what everyone's been asking for. His best ability. So that means he gets a free charge on every round. think like Sky's Guiding Light, right? He gets one for free as to buy the second, and then every 2 kills, he can regenerate a second one. So before he would regenerate his hot hands, which was his signature ability. You can see now this has changed to his non-signature ability, and it now costs 200 credits. Very good molly, by the way. Super underrated because you don't see a lot of Phoenix. This shit will cook people very quick. Okay, Blaze, biggest change in his kit. All right. It says, we want to support Phoenix's hybrid jack-of-all-trades utility value by allowing him to cast Blaze from safety for his teammates, similar to other vision blocking utility, like any of the controllers. Initial projectile goes through walls, allowing Blaze to function similarly to Harbor's High Tide. Dude, at the pro level, this is insane. This is insane. Where can we go? We can literally do like any map. You could potentially like get in showers and loop a wall like out like this through. I mean, you could already technically do stuff like this, but now that you can send it through shit, you can really do crazy stuff. Like you could technically wall from shower for your players on short. And I want to say Phoenix Wall is somewhat like Viper Wall, where it's a little bit longer in the game than on Valoplant. So it might even extend to like back you in this scenario. You know, you look at maps like Haven, this wall can actually do shit like this. Look at this. So you could do a C exec where Phoenix can wall through this so he doesn't have to have his wall up be vulnerable from this point. You can actually have a good hit with the guy now. There's so much value possible with this. Like there's just so many opportunities to like wall through stuff. And I think the number one example in my head is Pearl, just because this is where we've seen Phoenixes and Harbors, right? And that's the key thing is if you've seen Harbors in places, you can do any of the shit that Harbor does. And with like a cascade in particular. So like for Phoenix, dude, you could potentially on defense, you could play like a corner like this and like retake main with like your wall going through at any point. I mean, think about it like a post. This is dope. You could technically wall through on the retake something like this to help your team. Just to deny like an exit down the art stairs. If you wanted to, you could come off of barrier here. So say you start over here, top mid, you could wall through this and probably get both sides. And then control this area, break alarm bot or whatever is here. Holy, I'm telling you, this is a massive change. At the pro level, this is a massive change. And these teams are going to cook so hard. This guy still has a 6 orb ult. I think we're due for a Phoenix meta. It's just that Neon kind of has to get out of the way first because of her pick rate being through the roof and being way too strong. So once Neon takes a hit, this will help a lot. And then the last agent change is more of a bug. It's Jett's drift, the passive. It says balance impacting bug fix. Jett can no longer float while suppressed or detained. I mean, I don't know how it lasted so long. Like I've seen on my co-streams her get hit by like KO ults and just like float away and stuff, or get detained and jump float across the map. It's like, must have been a hard bug to fix or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good update. Yeah, good. Lighting updates to sunset, makes it more light. Wasn't really a problem for me, but good quality of life update again. Awesome. You don't want to tune out. I swear. Okay, before I start reading or before you click off the video, this is actually important for this patch. I can't believe they've done it. They managed to have value in this area of the patch notes. The changes to the gameplay systems in this patch are to better support Valorant's tactical gameplay. The combat report is intended to share in-game information easily. We're always paying attention to how these systems are playing out, including ways that those systems can be used to create advantages that are counter to their intended use cases. Combat report. While the combat report should be a tool to provide gameplay context for what your impact was within or around a Valorant, it has the occasional downside of leaking information to you that you would otherwise have no way of knowing. This happens most often with utilities such as Breach's Flashpoint or Sky's Guiding Light. You use your utility and you get killed, but you inadvertently also discover you blinded players you never saw or engaged with. These are the kinds of cases in mind, or with these kinds of cases in mind, we're making a change to the combat report. So your utility usage statistics now appear once the round has resolved, rather than immediately upon dying. So you have to wait to get this info. You will get it, it just once the round's over. In its place, you will see an animated hourglass. Once the round ends, utility usage statistics will become available and persist through pre-round of the next round. This is an amazing quality of life update. An amazing quality of life update. And it goes like beyond quality of life. This was abused in pro play. This is abused in ranked. This is abused even in like low elos. And it's a change that I just honestly, I didn't know that the devs would ever make. And I'm so happy they did. I mean, I'm so happy they did this. So an example like they're showing is, say you're breach or sky, right? You flash, you throw a guiding light like around this corner high. It's like high up in the sky. Or you breach flash this wall, again, high. And you're planning on like swinging this at the start of the round. There's a jett top site playing anti-flash with an op that's just going to like slide out and pick someone, right? But in addition to that, while you're doing this, your omen is like right here and smokes this. Their cypher might be like in garage, but before this smoke pops, the cypher gets hit by the flash because the exec just isn't that fast. There's travel time on the smoke, blah, blah, blah. You know, like this flash happens before the smoke. So the cypher will get hit by the flash. And then let's say in addition to that, there might be like an omen back plat with like smoke out or something. Like, I don't know, like he's ready to smoke something, but he's far enough back where he gets hit by this shit. So on your damage report, after one of you die, say like the breach gets picked by this jett, it's going to show on the damage report that you blinded 3 players, even though you did not see this omen, you did not see the cypher, and you should only be aware of this jett being here. Fantastic change, devs. Oh my God. Because at the pro level, this was getting a lot of value, and you never really know when it's being used as a spectator, right? Like you don't really know for sure, and unless you get access to the comms. You just want that kind of clarity when you watch the game. You want to know why people are doing things, and you don't want them to be abusing certain aspects like this. This is such a good change. Such a good change by the devs. Another good change, which literally requires the devs walk a very, very tight rope here, are the consusses. Well-placed consusses should be just as consequential for our movement-oriented duelists as other agents. We also think this strengthens defensive teleports compared to dashes as more flexible repositioning options to compensate for their weaknesses in entry capabilities. The nerf is that buff to concusses now slow enemy dashes by 50%. This affects Jett's Tailwind and Neon Slide. Look at this. So this is the old patch. This is the new patch. Watch this Neon Slide. She gets nowhere. It's like she's literally in quicksand. Watch the jett while she gets hit by this Nova Pulse. Dude, she doesn't even get past the doorway. This is a gigantic buff to concusses without making it feel like concusses are annoying as hell for everyone. I think I speak for everyone. It's fair to say none of us want concusses to be giga buffed. Like, you don't want to feel like it's impossible to kill someone when concussed and have breach be in every game. It's going to be miserable. But this is like, okay, we can still have the cosmetic stun kills, but at very least, let's make it so the duelists actually feel like they can be punished, you know? Because before it was like, they would just bounce off the stuns. Neons in particular would pop their ult and just like slide around and just ulting everyone while stunned. And it was just busted. It was so busted. So this is a great update to Breach. It won't make him feel giga busted, but yet, you know, you'll feel like concusses actually can net some kills and punish people making bad plays in the duelist role. The example that comes to my mind, because we've been seeing a lot of breaches over here on Split, and you often see this play a lot, where breaches will have like a fault line out at the start of the round, and they'll stun on like a kind of like a line like this. But you'll also see omens fight this a lot, right? Well, you might not see that anymore. You would see them one way this, which they literally say in the patch notes is gone. So this one way is gone. But it, you know, in this scenario where this is a 50% movement penalty, omen is going to get a slight buff because of the changes to Jett and Neon and the ability to kind of dive out of this stun. Omen can still TP the full distance, so he can play these crazy areas right here. And that's what the devs are trying to say, right? Is there's a hidden buff for Omen in this regard. Weapons updates. This part's huge too. Okay. So pistol inaccuracy changes. All pistols except the shorty. So they're making these more inaccurate, aka less accurate. So moving while crouching inaccuracy. So this is decreased. So you're actually more accurate when crouching and moving now than what you were previously. Classic. Right-click running inaccuracy is increased. So the inaccuracy for running is increased. So you are less accurate while running and bursting. Thank God. Right-click burst jumping inaccuracy also increased. So you're less accurate while jumping around and bursting. Good. Walking inaccuracy increased. Running inaccuracy increased. Harder to hit things while moving. Good. All good. Ghosts. Walking inaccuracy increased. Running inaccuracy increased. So again, good. Moving, shooting, bad. We don't want that. Let's move on past the movement shit. Here we go. There have been fewer phantom purchases over time with new maps being released and higher proficiency in shooting. The phantom and vandal's current differences are intended to keep their unique or identities unique while still being relatively competitive with each other. These changes are intended to make the phantom feel better to use primarily and reduce frustrating instances of headshots doing less damage than expected at different distances. These breakpoints will remove some instances of 140 headshots and all instances of 124 in one headshots, excluding wall penetration. What I'm reading here is this fight right here, this is a 140 if you headshot with a phantom right now. And that is a huge buff. That is a huge buff. So the phantom is insane. And then kind of keep going here. You know, the 140s, it looks like, now it doesn't directly say it here with the 140s, but it says the body shot damage, and I can infer then the headshot damage. So the damage fall off changed, and here are the previous numbers, and here are the new numbers. So you only have to worry about like two categories now, the 0 to 20 and the 20 plus. An idea for, I guess, about how far, you know, that we're talking here. This distance, I would always measure out on bind. I would be here to like here. It would be like 15, right? And so I knew with a phantom, I could one-shot someone. I would imagine now you could just be like anywhere. Like you don't have to lean forward now. You could be like all the way at this back wall. This is a very good change to make the phantom used more. Now, I don't know how much the vandal is going to be used because, dude, with this new shield in the game, larger time to kill. So with larger time to and higher HPs. So now the phantom is going to one-shot you if you have full shields in a lot of the situations that the phantom is going to be fighting in. It's going to one-shot you every time with half shields. And in addition to that, the fire rate is way faster. There's no tracers through smokes. I think the phantom is about to cook for the next like 6 months until they buff the vandal or nerf it back down. The phantom is definitely the gun of choice. It was already close. You could have already argued for the phantom. I don't see how I could argue for the vandal. As someone that's using the vandal way more, I'm going to start using the phantom. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I haven't done one of these patch notes videos in a minute. Be sure to comment below if you disagree with any of my stuff. I'm always curious to read that. And yeah, I'm actually really excited for this patch. I think the movement updates, the gun updates, the update to Phoenix. I think I'm ready for Cypher Killjoy to kind of take a step back and have like Vice, Sage, you know, some of these Deadlock, some of these other Sentis take a step up. And we are in for a very exciting next meta. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.